And welcome to my YouTube channel. This is very exciting. I've been talking about a YouTube channel for a while. Now it's here. I'm really happy you're here. Let's get into it. First of all, who's this girl? I am your hostess with the mostest, Brandy, and I am the founder of Brandeis Nicole. Brandeis Nicole is basically a one-stop shop for all things beauty, style, and confidence. So if you are looking to live a more confidently stylish life, girl, you're in the right place. Today I'm going to be talking about bronzers. So I don't know about y'all, but I guess maybe around April, the Sephora sale started. I got way too much stuff, went a little crazy, and it was right around when Fenty released their bronzers. And I think for me that was a big well, I'm obviously gonna have to have this. But then it also made me think well, what other bronzers do I need? Probably all of them. So I am here for y'all. So I'm going to be showing you all the bronzers that I currently own and doing some swatches so you can get an idea my skin tone, how they might look on you. We'll talk formula because I've got creams and powders, and I want to make sure that you're able to make the best decision for you out there. All right, so first up, we'll just get into some swatches and I'll talk about some of the products, and then I'll do a little bit of a demo, put on some foundation, do a little bit of a look with one or more of the bronzers, and you can kind of see how I like to wear bronzer, where I like to wear bronzer. I mean, there's a lot of, I don't even know if confusion's the right word. I think even within the industry, the difference between bronzer and contour, can it have shimmer, should it be matte? I think there used to be a lot of very hard and fast rules about that, and now people play, which I think is really cool. So I'm not here to tell you how to live your best bronzer life. I will tell you what I do with mine, and you can get a sense of how I wear it and what that looks like on me. Let's do this. So a couple of the things that I picked up at the Sephora sale, I've gotten really into this brand Kosas. So I've got two shades of their bronzer. There's a light, a medium, and a deep. The medium online, when I was trying to pick, and I looked at some other, videos and things trying to see swatches, the medium I was worried was going to be really too close to my skin tone, but the deep looked really red. I have a pretty neutral undertone, so I was afraid that the red, it wasn't so much that it was too deep, so to speak, but that the reddish undertone was actually going to not complement my skin tone very well. So here's what we got. So you guys can see this. So there we go. That's the medium right here, and then on top we have the deep. Like I said, I was worried that the deep would be a little bit too red, but we'll get into some swatches and y'all can decide. In terms of the packaging, I think it's pretty cool. It's kind of this milk glass color. Weight feels nice, feels like a pretty compact, like something you wouldn't mind having on your bathroom vanity. In terms of everything else, I do think it's a good amount of product. It's kind of got a dome shape here. I do find there's a lot of kickback with this, so that's just something to know. When you dip your brush in, it's a really soft formula, which is why I think it looks really natural on the skin, which we'll get into. But man, oh man, you put that brush in and it's everybody watch out. So that is definitely something to note. The other thing is there is an odor. I'm just gonna say it. It's really hard to describe. This is a clean beauty brand. I don't know if it has to do with anything, but it smells almost like plastic packaging, but also something from my childhood that I can't put my finger on. Like some toy or something you would unwrap and be oh, there's that plastic Gumby smell. Y'all, I know, it sounds terrible. It is kind of terrible. I'm not gonna lie. And when you put it on your face, you can't smell it at all. But even just when I opened it, just to be oh, here are the colors, had to take a breath. So I think that's important for you to know. Let's move on. I have two actually pretty old Bobbi Brown bronzers. These were some of the first bronzers I ever got. I think I got these off of QVC. Y'all, we can talk QVC another day. I don't do it a lot now, really anymore now, but we had problems in the past. It's just so easy. Bobbi Brown, so I actually have two of these. So this one is in the color dark, and I will swatch these, but so you can see, it's a little bit deeper than my skin tone, which with a bronzer you do want. And then the other one that I have actually came, I don't know if they even make this anymore. It came as this, I think a really cool concept. She does still make these, but the last time I checked on the website, this particular color combination wasn't available. So we've got this guy. So you've got like an apricot. I'm just gonna focus when we want to. You've got, I think it's called, yeah, apricot blush, and then the bronzer is in deep. So it's a little bit deeper, I believe, than the dark, which she has as color number 3, and I think deep is color number 4. Don't quote me on that. So those are my 2 Bobbies. Then we've got Fenty. So I was like, y'all, those Cheeks Out cream blushes came out. I may own 8 of 10. You didn't hear it from me. I was equally as excited about the bronzers, but every time I looked at the shade range, the color Teddy looked like my skin, and then the next shade was Chocolate, which was a beautiful, warm, deep chocolate shade, but it almost looked like it would be a contour for me, not a bronzer at all. So I personally found with that line, in a very like un-Fenty way, the range, it just kind of like, there was like a chasm in between like 5, 6, and 7. So like the very deepest shade looked really rich and gorgeous. And then like I said, like Chocolate looked really cool. But then Teddy was like 4 shades lighter than Chocolate, but like really close to the one right before it. So for those of us just like basic milk chocolate girls, like I don't know, there was not really a lot to be done there. So I ended up not getting them, which just about killed me. But looking at swatches online, it just really didn't look like anything that was going to happen for me. So y'all put in the comments if you are around my skin tone. I am Pat McGrath Medium Deep 22. And in back in the old MAC days, I think I was like NC 45. Y'all haven't worn MAC in forever, but I think NC 45. So like let me know if you have Teddy or Chocolate, how that's been going for you, and what you think I can get away with. But what I do have, which I've been loving, is this one, this Fenty, her just regular powder bronzer in Island Ting. Don't come for me, Caribbean folk. You know I can't do the accent, but I enjoy it. I also picked up, this was like a little set. It came with a little matchstick, a little mini. So cute. So this is Caramel Cutie. So I'll swatch that one as well, just in case you're considering, and we'll be able to see what's what. Last but not least, I do have a couple of creams. One's a little controversial. This one's not. So this one is Tower 28. Okay, we're just really not gonna, okay, that's fine. So this one's Tower 28, and it's a cream bronzer, and the color is West Coast. I'm sorry, Bronzino West Coast. This was the deeper of the 2. They had 2, so I decided to try this one. All in that amazing Sephora sale. And then last, these are, I'd say, like controversial. Like, are they bronzers? Are they not? And so I did pick up the Tom Ford, so fancy. I picked up the Tom Ford shade Illuminate in intensity 1 and 2. I will have another video up exclusively just on those 2 products, the Tom Ford and a Traceless foundation stick that I picked up. So be on the lookout for that, search the videos, and take a gander. But for today, let's get these things swatchy, shall we? Okay, so I'm gonna come in a little closer. Hello. And we'll get to swatching. Okay, so first up, here is that Kosas in medium. It's really buttery, y'all. Like the feel of it is really nice, and there's no kickback with my finger, right? But again, just buyer beware. If you are looking to do a brush, which mostly you do with bronzer. Okay, so we're gonna come here. So there we go. So what I like about that, it is really close to my skin tone, but it just adds a little bit of almost like a subtle glow. So I'd say it's not like bronze, like a really deep bronze, but it just adds a little something. Next up, we have the Kosas in Deep. This is the one, it's actually called a warm dark bronze. It definitely got a red tone to it. Again, worried it was going to be too deep. So you can see there, it is definitely deeper. I personally think it looks a little bit less red on my skin tone than I thought it would. Like, it does look more bronze than red, so that was surprising. All right, next up, Bobbi. So this is Bobbi Brown in Deep, the one that has the apricot with it, but these are sold separately, the bronzers. So there is Deep. So you can see that's much more like bronzer, right? Like, it's much deeper than my skin tone. It would warm me up some. So that was Deep, and now we'll do Dark, which I believe is actually lighter. We're about to find out. So that's here. So I'd say those are actually pretty close. This one to me has a little bit more of like a, almost like a gray undertone. So might be better if you're, I mean, I wouldn't say like you could truly contour with this, maybe depending on your skin tone, but it's definitely not as rich as this one, which was the Deep. So again, so far we have Kosas Bronzer in medium, Kosas in their Deep. I always want to call it something else. Hold on, y'all. Yes, Deep. Bobbi Brown in Deep is third, and then Bobbi Brown in Dark. Next up, Fenty. So this one is Island Ting, and you'll see there's not a ton of color on me with this. It's actually really close to my skin tone, but for whatever reason, y'all, like on the skin, I think she just warms me up pretty beautifully. So there you go. Next up, here is Caramel Cutie from Fenty. This is the little mini that I have. She's adorbs. So what's interesting about this one for me is this one actually tends to make me look a little bit muddy. So I think Island Ting is a little bit, I don't know, on camera it doesn't maybe look warmer. I feel like it is. This one, it's a little bit deeper, but again, I think it's a little bit cooler than this one. And so this one actually tends to make me look a little bit muddy, which I dislike in a bronzer. So there you go. Last up, let's do a cream, just because we can. Oh, I forgot one, y'all. I have one more. Let's finish with the powder. Who forgot this? I mean, it's the size of my head. So this is the Marc Jacobs Omega Bronze Coconut Perfect Tan, and it's in the color Tantalize. So I think there are 3 colors of this. I wanted to try this one because from looking at reviews and looking online, it looked like the deepest. So I was most interested in that. It truly is giant, y'all. Like, I don't know what you're doing with this. You're just bronzing your life away, but here we go. So let's try that one. Running out of arm. There we go. So that one for me also was a little dusty. Like, I didn't get any bronze out of that. I do think it's too cool for my skin tone, but also, I guess it's not that it's not deep enough. Yeah, I think it's just too cool. It just didn't really seem to do anything. Whereas like, I feel like even that one, even though it's light, you've got like a little bit of that shimmer. These are actually, you know, obviously like a little bit deeper, so you get what you wanted of those, but even like, you know, coming in here, I think it just warms the skin up a little more. This one felt a little bit ashy. And then we've got, this is the one I told y'all we would try out. So this is Tower 28. I like a cream. I do. We can talk all about when to apply cream and when to apply powder products some other time. Today we'll be working pretty much only with powder, so you don't have to worry about like what sets when and all of that, but I will show you the Tom Fords in a second too, just so you can get a sense. All right, so here is, bam. So I loved the bronziness on this, on me. I found when I wore it, I preferred the Kosas, like they're actually really close. I preferred the Kosas for the formula. So this like looked really good, but it had a tendency to almost look like lit from within, which is not bad, but almost more like a highlighter. I think because of the creaminess than a true bronzer. So your results may totally vary. Don't take my word for it, but that was how I felt with that one. So let's get into just like a really simple look, and I'll do a foundation that I've been really enjoying lately and can tell you guys what I think about that. And then we'll just do like a really simple bronzy little look. And I'll show you guys how some of these look on my skin. Deal? Deal. All right, so what do I have on? Right now, I have on brows. I've been enjoying this little bitty from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's the Brow Powder Duo in the shade Ebony. So it's got 2 colors, so you can see there. I only use the darker side, like I don't know who the lighter side is for, not me. But I also don't understand why you would need both, unless you're right in between, which I guess would be a really good thing. So I have that on for brows. I went really light today just because knowing I'd be with you people. I know I was going to put some stuff on. Mascara, this is Chanel Dimensions in number 40. I think this color is sold out. Do not kill me. But it was a limited edition shade. You're probably not going to be able to see, but I really like it. It's not black. It's actually kind of like a really deep plum. So I've got that on. And my absolute favorite lip balm. These guys are from Henne Organics. And they come in clear, azalea, which is kind of like a fun poppy color, coral, and this is my absolute favorite called Intrigue. It's kind of like a raisin shade. I'll just put a little on there. It's like totally like a My Lips But Better shade. Formula is super moisturizing. I heart it. I'll link this one in the description box so y'all can check it out, as well as brows. I'm not going to link the mascara because, like I said, I don't think they make it anymore. But I will link also the bronzers that we've been chatting about. All right, skin prep. What did I do today? Feels like so long ago. I think I did my Watermelon Glow Pore Tightening Serum and Edible Beauty number 3, their Goddess Serum, which I love. Moisturizer, Youth to the People, and that's it. That's all she wrote. I'm not a big primer person. I find that it adds a step that my skin doesn't need. I've tried. I actually purchased the Silk, what is it called? The Silk Canvas primer by Tatcha. I'm looking at the box of Sephora stuff I have down here. And I got the compact, so it comes in like a liquid and a compact. I got the compact one. It was like fine. I think it just has so much to do with your skin type, with the weather, with everything. When I used to do makeup for hair and bridal, makeup for hair. When I used to do makeup for bridal, I always primed my clients, right? Because it gave me that peace of mind knowing like I've met this person maybe once before. They're gonna need to be out maybe in the sun. They're sweating, they're talking, they're doing all these things for 8 to 12 hours. It was like that extra layer of insurance. But for me personally, in my regular life, I do not prime. Do y'all prime? Tell me about it. Would love to hear. So this foundation has been, I've been really liking it. So this is the Makeup Forever Reboot Foundation. So I think it's like new-ish. It claims to brighten, smooth, firm, hydrate, and even out. Excuse me. I am in the shade Y445. I found my shade on Sephora just by using their shade matcher, just by putting in, I think, like my Fenty shade. The Fenty foundation does not work for me, but I find that knowing your shade in Fenty is really helpful for knowing your shade in other brands. So I'm Fenty, I think 370. So I put that in. This came out, tried it sight unseen because I'm not in Sephora's right now, ordered it, and it's been working out really good. So some people do foundation first, some people do concealer first. I tend to mix it up depending on how I'm feeling. I actually usually do concealer first, but we just got this started, so here we go. So I usually start like on the center of my face, so cheeks. A little bit here. I don't put a lot on. I'm one of those people, y'all, where it's like, does she even have makeup on? Like, it kind of looks like she does, but I don't really see her put a lot on. So I'm just grabbing a mirror. So I have like a really light hand, and that does not have to be you. Just using a beauty blender. I don't make it damp. I just put it on. But I'm also having like a pretty good skin day. So I just don't use a lot of product. I'm all about that natural. Clearly, if you wanted more, you could. I do find that this is really blendable. So like I'm using like, that's all she wrote. I have gotten too much before, and it really does blend out, I will say. So like, don't be afraid of it. I don't find that it starts to look cakey or starts to look makeup-y in a way that I bet no one wants. So that's me. I don't tend to pull foundation up to my hairline because that's where, for most of us, you're going to have a natural contour, right? Meaning like the sun hits your forehead more. So I'm a big fan of only putting foundation and concealer where you need it. So for me, this is an all over face situation, but I'm actually not putting it all over my face. So this is kind of like maximum coverage for me. I even out my cheeks. I go underneath my nose where I usually have some redness. Up to my eyes. Definitely in the middle of my forehead, but you'll see I'm stopping here. I don't put foundation up here. The reason for that is if I even out my face completely with one color, you're making a mask. So everyone's face naturally has different dimension to it. And when you put foundation all over, like some people, like we just put on like lotion, right? You're just like, yes, got my foundation on. So you've then made a problem where you have to like add your face back into your face with bronzer, contour, you know, all the things. And like, don't get me wrong, I love those things, but I like using them because I like using them, not because my face looks like it's all one color and it just doesn't quite look right. I usually don't add any down here either. I have discoloration kind of like around my mouth, so I'm naturally darker down here. So if I add the foundation shade that works here to here, it ends up looking really ashy. So I actually just don't go over there. You can see I didn't put any foundation here. So this is not about like copying what I do. This is about really knowing and studying your own face, right? So I just said, I know I'm darker here. I know I'm darker here. I don't need anything here. I would like to be even there. I have redness here. So that's me knowing and studying my own face just to see what I need. You gotta do the same for you, boo-boo. All right, I think she's looking pretty even. Let's go. Anywhere, anytime. I would do my whole face with them if I needed to. And I would also just conceal. They are Pat McGrath Labs, Vogue, and Too Faced Born This Way. I am the shade, shoot y'all, is it Mocha or Maple? I think it's Mocha in Too Faced, and as I said earlier, I wear the same medium deep 22 in her foundation as well as in her concealer. I do have medium 17 as like more of like a highlight, like if I want to do, you know, sometimes you see people like they have like their face color and they have like a really much brighter under eye color. I don't tend to do that. I think it looks really nice in photos. It'd probably look real nice here on YouTube. But I think in real life, like I do have some darkness under here, but I find just getting a concealer with enough coverage is enough to kind of lighten and brighten versus, you know, going in like real hard with something that's a lot lighter. So if you're new around here, you are not going to see me putting like 7 shades of face on my face to make my face. Just heads up. So let's get into it. I love this little doe foot. I find that like a little goes a really long way. I tend to make sure I get like way up in that corner. That's where I carry most of my darkness. And I always go on an angle up. So pro tip, when you're doing your eyeshadow as well as your concealer, you want to make your eyes look more upturned. This is what makes happy faces. And so you can actually like fake that or achieve it more when you're doing your concealer, because it usually is going to be a little bit lighter than the rest of your face. And so making that diagonal right there actually really helps to make you look more awake and a little bit happier. Is that a thing? No claims. Don't come at me if you're like, I'm still having a bad day. I hope it gets better if that's the case. So again, I don't dampen this. I have used sponges, I've used fingers, I've used all manner of implements to do concealer. I really, really think a beauty blender, it just works. I like the finish, and I like the little bit of texture to it. Not like texture like what's happening to your face texture, but to me, it just looks like skin, which is what I want my face to look like. So, okay, we're all good there. If I was just doing concealer, which is actually what I do most days I actually don't wear a true foundation. If I was just doing concealer, I would do under my eyes, I would do a little bit of brightening here, around my nose, a little bit around my mouth, and that's it. I wouldn't even kind of come out here into my cheeks. So, that's that. All right, so let's do eyes really quickly, just to be able to show you guys how I do quick eyes. So this pencil is a Chanel pencil. I don't know if you guys can see that color. It's kind of a bronze. The color is Santal, which I think means sandalwood. I made that up, but at least I'm honest with y'all. So the way that I do my eyeliner, I really like this bronze. For me, it's a really great color just in terms of having something on that's like different than black and not as harsh as black, but not like a color where I have to worry about coordinating it. So if you stick around, which I hope you will, please like, subscribe, tell your friends. You're gonna see that when I do my eyeliner, I do always. I actually start from that outer corner and I flick up. It is not precise. I just flick up, and that's how I start my eyeliner. So what happens is, for a lot of us, you start to line your eye in exactly the shape that your eye is in. Honey, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with your eye shape. However, again, to achieve that more kind of upturned, uplifted look, for a lot of us, our eyes either turn down, or mine are actually pretty straight across. So in order to really get that lifted look, if you just follow the natural shape of your eye and it turns down, you've now basically highlighted that shape and made it more prominent versus being able to do something more upturned. So just get to that outer corner, flick up. This pencil is a waterproof pencil. I find that it doesn't budge, but I also find that it's not like crazy unmanageable. Once you flick up, I then come back down, and that's how I make like the teeniest, tiniest little wing. My eye shape, I have double hooded eyes, so wings and eye are like, it gets a little hairy. So I don't spend a lot of time trying to make winged liner. When I see memes, they're like, I got one wing, didn't get the other. I'm like, I don't know about that life. I gave up a long time ago. So if that's you, feel no shame about that. We're out there, us unwinged people. But I have found this trick to be really good, to be able to still give your eyes some lift, right? Without like working on a wing. This brush right here, this is Cosette, Cozette. I guess it's all, I use it so much it's gone. But I really, really like these vegan brushes. I learned about these at makeup school, for lack of a better word. But in being in the bridal industry, he's a professional makeup artist, the gentleman who makes these, and they're really great quality. I believe Danessa Myricks uses them too, and we love her. So I just kind of, it's not really necessary, but I just kind of smudge this a little bit and then feather it up and feather whatever we had here. So as you can see, like the whole like super precision thing, like A, nobody has time for that. B, that's just how I like to wear my makeups. Next up, what do we want to do? I have with me the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. This is one of my hands down favorite eyeshadow palettes. I mean, like, I highly suggest you get into it. It costs a whole bunch of money. I believe it is worth it. That's all I'm gonna say. So this is what she looks like. A lot of the colors I think can look really intimidating or scary, but I find that her shadows, the formula, they blend so well that you are never left looking like somebody did you wrong that morning. You know what I mean? Like, you can just keep working it and it just always looks good, which is not the case with certain other shadows. So I do find, yes, they are pricey, but I find that they're pretty worth it. Okay, so I'm just gonna do just like a simple little fluffy brush here. Since we're not kind of going crazy on eyes today, I'm just gonna do simple little look. So I'm gonna take this gold shadow here and just kind of get that worked in. So you'll notice that line that I created, that becomes like a little guardrail. So I work in from there. I need to go above my crease, or when I open my eyes, you won't see anything. All right, so simple wash of color. We're not gonna do one of those 42 colors that I like to do today. So we got bronzer to get to. All right, so, ooh, hello. We've got just a little bit of definition there. I could do other things, but you know what, y'all? Let's get to it. Bronzer. Brushes. I really like this. It's Sephora. It's their number 55. It's nice and fluffy. I really like this for my Fenty powder bronzer. It just seems to work really well. For the Kosas bronzers, because they kick up so much, I've actually found that a more dome-shaped bronzer, where it's the tapered head, is going to pick up some of the product and not kind of like diffuse it everywhere, like this one, is better. This is a MAC 138. Let's see. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys the two Kosas bronzers. I think I'll do one of the Kosas bronzers and then Fenty Islanding, which is the one I wear the most, and then maybe a couple of the Bobbi Browns. First up, blush. I always do blush before bronzer. I think just the placement of blush helps you to know where you're going to put your bronzer. If you wear blush, if you don't, that's also fine. This is a brand called Flesh, who I really like. The color is Fever. It's a really nice, like, warm coral color, and I always find that orange and brown go really, really well together. So the orange of this and the bronzer will look really great. This is a NARS Yachio brush. This, y'all, this is the brush I learned to use blush with. I always thought blush was scary. I was like, no thank you, too much. I was definitely afraid of looking clown-like. And there's just something about this brush. It is on the pricier side from NARS, but it has never steered me wrong. It actually was the gateway to me being able to figure out how to use other blush brushes and still be able to put on blush in a way that I think is really pretty and natural. So I always go back up into the hairline. I just think that tends to look more natural on my face shape than just concentrating on the apples. All right, let's get into it. I'm gonna go in first with my big domed bronzer, and this is the Kosas medium. See, now she's trying to make a liar of me. There's like minimal kickback. Maybe you just have to, you know, the more you use it, the less kickback there is. IDK. But she's behaving quite nicely. Like seriously, all the first like 2 or 3 times I used this, doing that produced like a hailstorm. So, good times. Good job, you. So, where do we put bronzer? Bronzer is supposed to warm up the face, okay? So it's not contour, although you can contour with bronzer. Again, that's like a whole thing, but using bronzer the way that it's intended, it's really supposed to be where the sun would naturally hit and bronze your face, no matter your skin tone. So that's going to be high points up here. Basically anywhere where your face protrudes, because that's where the sun hits it first versus areas that are more recessed where the sun hits it last. So forehead bones, brow bone, your cheekbones, that's where you're going to want to put your bronzer. So I'm just going to go in, and I like these big fluffy brushes because you can get all warm and it doesn't really matter. I usually take it up a little bit into the hairline too. So I think that that just looks a little bit more natural. Look at that. I think she's a little bit more warm. So let's go back into that medium. Just putting a little more on. Y'all, that smell. What is it? So that was the Kosas medium again. Ah! Let me just look in my mirror and make sure I'm actually putting this where I think I'm putting this. Oh yeah, me love. So I'm just working it right there on those high planes and back into the hairline. And so what I like again about this formula and why I put up with the weird odor is it actually creates a little bit of a highlight. Can you guys see that? There's something in there where like it's not shimmer, it's not glitter. It just has this like lit from within glow that I think is so striking. So there she has it. Let's now rock on over to my Fenty. So this one, like I said, this is Island Ting. This is my preferred shade. There's not a ton of color to this. I use this especially more when I'm like not tan. So I think it's really great to be able to use for me, like in, you know, like cooler months. I now live in a place where we don't have a lot of winter. I'm in Houston now. I was in New York for a very long time. So for me, like I can get away still with bronzer in March, April, and I probably still have like a little bit more glow to my skin than I would if I say still lived in New York. But I think even if I did and I wanted to bronzer, this would still be a safe bet because as you'll see, there's actually just not like a ton of, ooh, got a little hair fall out. There's not like a ton of deepness to it for me, but I do still think it just kind of warms the skin up. Go a little up there. Okay. So, you know, not, like I said, I don't think it's very dramatic, but I kind of like that. So to me, both of these, this one's like, has like a little bit more warmth to it. Maybe a little bit more bronze versus this one, but I really like how natural that one looks. If I wanted to go in with, say, a little bit deeper of a color or more color, I'm just going to layer right on top of these. So I will do the Bobbi Brown Deep. So here she is. Just going to take some there, dust a little bit off. This one has a little bit of kickback too, nothing crazy. And let's see. So this one, because it's deeper, I'm not going to bring it as far forward. I kind of want that to just sit back a little bit more. And I'll bring some of that up here too. Okay. Hi. And then, last but not least, since we're warming things up over here, let's go in for this one. Let's go in for this Kosas Deep. I'm going to get my domed brush again just to kind of prevent some of that kickback. Maybe that was it. I might have been using this brush when I first got this. And maybe at some point I realized and switched over to this guy. Yeah, hardly any fallout. Who knew? And that's as much product as I have. Actually looks like quite a bit. Let's go for it, you guys. So again, I'm going to concentrate more back here. Just because I already have bronzer up here, I don't want it to start to get muddy because I've got a lot of product on. So I'd say this for me is like, because it is red. I don't know if you guys can now see like my forehead, right? Like she red. I like it though. Like I think it's much more dramatic. So like it warms me up, but in a way that like I undeniably have bronzer on. So like just my whole face looks a little bit deeper and a little bit more tan or bronzed. I don't think it looks unnatural. It's just like if I actually had anywhere to go, this could be a complexion I would get to, you know, if I really was in the sun. I'm just gonna finish off with a little bit of lip. Let's go orange. Let's keep it going. This is Gucci, and I think it's called Agatha. I love this. I love it so much. It's their sheer voile. So it's got a sheer formula, and I just think it makes everything look better. I like that it's pigmented, but not crazily so. And that's all she wrote. Hello, and maybe goodbye. That's it. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys, just to get a sense of, again, the bronzers that I have, the bronzers that I use. So we can just do like a quick recap. I picked up both of these Kosas bronzers at the Sephora sale. As you can tell, I like them both, so I kept both. If you are watching this video in an attempt to try and find your shade, hopefully this was helpful, but I do think if you're kind of around my skin tone, you could probably play with both. I think if you're deeper than I am, I would suggest more of that warm red, and not to be afraid of the red. Like definitely try it out. It was surprising on me how well that reddish undertone worked on my skin, because I am more neutral. I lean warm, but not red warm. I lean more yellow if I'm going to lean warm. I think if you are more fair complected than I am, I'd say if you're more like on that true medium scale, I do like the depth that this medium color has. So unlike what I was afraid of with the Fenty, with that teddy color, it being like just exactly like my skin, the formula, y'all, again, I'm willing to get over whatever this Gumby odor is. Like it adds, it's something different in my arsenal. It adds that little bit of a glow that almost looks like highlighter, and you clearly saw I didn't put any highlighter on. I think even for that, even if it is kind of close to your complexion, I would still say give it a shot. Clearly I do not have the light, as that would not be anything that I would need to use or would even probably show up, but the formula is such that I think if you are more on the light spectrum, I would say give it a shot, and maybe get the medium too. Because what I saw with the deep, even though the deep looked so rich in the pan, I think it still does a really, really awesome job of just like really warming up the skin. So there you have it. We also looked at the two Bobbi Browns. I think if you're looking for a true matte bronzer with a little bit of that cooler undertone, I really like those. The Fenty ones, for example, it's great. There's like a bigger shade range in there, and Fenty's powder. But I actually find the shades to be so similar that it was actually kind of confusing for me to figure out like which ones worked, and the undertones are all slightly different in a way that's like you almost have to try them all. So if you have one and you love it, awesome, because I do really like, this is like my go-to basically, especially like in the cooler months when I'm not as tan. So don't get me wrong, I do really love it, but I think that if you're like just dipping a toe into bronzer, I don't know, check out the Bobbi. However, if we want to keep supporting our Black-owned brands, dip a toe into the Fenty. There you have it. There's a video where I'll do more Kosas, so I have some of their like Shade and Light products, or Color and Light I think they're called, the Kosas Concealer, so we can get into that. And then also, we didn't really get into today the Tom Ford, but like I said, there is and do have a tutorial and a review on these Shade and Light illuminators. So definitely check me out. Fam, as always, it has been a total honor and a blessing to be here. I am so happy to have you in the Brandeis Nicole family. I cannot wait for you to live more confidently stylish lives this week, this minute. Maybe as a result of this video, or maybe just because you're a bad bee. Either way, have an amazing week, and I will see you next time. Cheers.